Hey, welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm Wood. In this series, we're comparing two accounts that I started on the same day at the same time, and I'm playing the same way with one major difference. One account has a monthly spending budget, the other is free to play. It's day 28. Let's check our progress. Hey, thanks again for joining me. Today, we're on the free-to-play account. We are on day 28. I'll go back in here I already collected the reward. Daily login. And you can see we got 4 pieces of 4-star Relentless gear today. Like every day, on the free-to-play account, we have a bluish-green border all the way around. And on the budget account, there's no border. So I'll just see right there. That's a budget account, no border around it. Free to play has a little green border, greenish blue. I can't really tell what color it is. So I had a question the other day on one of the videos. Leanna asks, what masteries have you done on your Ethel and Adeline? And it's a good question. I think what we ought to do to answer that question, I'll show you what I have just so far. But I think the better thing that we can do is probably show you where to go to look up masteries for any champion you may have. I'm assuming that Leanna is a new player, and so I actually know Leanna is a new player. For my Ethel, I selected these masteries. I don't think necessarily this should be followed by everyone. It's a suggestion, and it works so far for what I'm doing, but there's a lot of different ways you can go on masteries, and intelligent people can disagree on what's most important. This is what I've chosen, but let's go over to hellhades.com. And by the way, thank you, Leanna, for the question. Okay, let's go into hellhades.com here, and I want to show you the great the great tool that this is. You can go into the tier list on hellhades.com. And you can put in any champion's name, and there are 3 versions of Ethel that will come up here. You can select, and there's the Supreme Ethel, which is the legendary, and there's our Ethel, which is our starter champion. And they will give you, if you scroll down to the bottom here, they give you ratings, and I trust the Hell Hades ratings more than I trust the in-game ratings. They're much more well thought out. They understand what you're going to be doing with the champion and what you're not going to be doing with the champion. And then you'll see down here at this part, as you scroll down, you see they give you 3 suggested mastery trees for this champion. And we'll go in and look at Adeline also. But you can see on this one, they chose a little bit similar to what I did, a few changes on the offense tree, few differences from what I did on the offense tree, but also they went support tree. And what they're saying is if you're going to be doing standard PvE and clan boss, mostly with this champion, here's what we suggest. And then if you're going to have an early campaign farmer, right? This is what they suggest if you're strictly going to be doing early game campaign farming with your Ethel, or any of your starter champions actually. And then down here they give you arena nuke. Okay, so here's the arena nuke masteries, and I can't really argue with any of these. I think if you're going to be using your Ethel for that specific purpose alone, I think all 3 of these trees make total sense. And so you'll see 2 of them use the defense tree, 1 of them uses the support tree. And I kind of went with a hybrid of both of these, because I knew I would be using my Ethel as the campaign nuker for the foreseeable future. So I went with Helm Smasher on the tier 6 mastery tree for the tier 6 mastery. But like I said, these are all good trees, and if you are a starting out player for any champion you're building, you can go in, and if you know kind of what you're going to be doing with the champion you're building, you can trust one of these trees. As long as you pick the right thing, and if you find that you're not using your Ethel anymore, for arena, you may go up to one of these if you're still using her. For example, if you still have your Ethel just in clan boss, then I would I think this tree makes total sense. If you're an early game farmer, and I, like I said, I kind of went with a hybrid. I could see how someone would disagree with the way I built the mastery tree that I'm using for Ethel. But this is really good if you're just using her for campaign farming. So I like the ideas, and these are very well thought out. Let's go over to Adeline. Okay, let's select Adeline here, and see they give all the ratings are specific to each area of the game, which is, that's what you get in the in-game ratings also. They rate out Adeline about kind of what I would expect. She's not highly rated, but she's okay. In early game, you use what you have available to you. I actually think she can be useful in certain parts of the game if your options are very limited. Anyway, but yeah, they give you four. They give you 4 different mastery trees for Adeline here. General PvE. I have no argument with this, other than maybe I would maybe switch to, well, no, actually I wouldn't. I kind of like to use Life Drinker. You can see I'm circling Life Drinker there. I kind of like to use Life Drinker on PvE champions, but that have War Master. But Adeline doesn't do a lot of hits. She only hits with her A1. So because she only uses her A1 once in a, but if you're not booking your Adeline, she's going to be using her A1 more. I maybe would do Life Drinker instead, and maybe remove Arcane Celerity from over here. But that's a disagreement that could be had among 2 intelligent people who disagree about the importance of that one. So I think this is a perfectly valid tree right here. The Life Drinker maybe wouldn't do so much to help you because she's a healer anyway, and you're going to be building her tanky. If you're using her as a debuffer or a tank, and you're not trying to do any damage, let's say if you're not using her in Clan Boss, maybe you're using her in Arena, which you probably wouldn't do, but this tree would work for that. And you want to give her the accuracy on the tier 6. You can see there. You can use the accuracy on the tier 6 mastery there, and these all work. For restoration, if you want to use her as a healer, you'd want to go support and defense here also. This one I would say would be most useful if you're building your Adeline for to use in Sand Devil, because she has a sleep that she doesn't hit on, and then she has another heal where she doesn't hit. This would be a good tree for Adeline, because if you're using Adeline for Sand Devil, which early game you're not going to do, obviously Sand Devil is something you do later, but I'd say, if you're somebody who's watching this and you want to use Adeline for Sand Devil, this is the tree I would suggest. If you just want her healing. And this tier 6 mastery is kind of an interesting one. It's called Timely Intervention, and it increases it would increase Adeline's turn meter by 20% whenever an ally or hero drops below 25% HP. So it gives her a boost of speed if one of the team is in trouble. And that would be, if you're using her just to heal, just to keep your team alive, that's the one you would want on there. So I think that's good also. And then down here they have a debuffer tank tree. Again, that's the same. Is that the same tree? Yeah, same tree is up here. So yeah, so if you're using her for PvP as a debuffer tank, or PvE as a debuffer tank, you'd pretty much have the same masteries. Do they have any differences there? No. Okay, yeah, they're the exact same. So yeah, if you're using her in PvE mostly, then you'd want to use this type of tree here. You don't go to the offense tree on champions sometimes that don't have very many hits, but if you are using her for Clan Boss, for example, and that's and you want just more damage on your Clan Boss team, then you would go over here to the offense tree and use War Master. So I like all of these trees, and I wouldn't suggest doing otherwise. I'll take you back over to my free-to-play, and I'll show you kind of what I have so far on her. I don't have very many masteries built on Adeline yet, But you can see I've kind of gone the route of that they did on the restoration route, with mixing in with the general PvE route. So I kind of mixed the two here. You can see here I've got her in steadfast, which gives her just more max HP, and then the lay on hands, which increases the value of healing, and then this one heals her if an enemy dies, which that happens in Doom Tower. And then over here on the offense tree, because for right now I am using her in Clan Boss, I'm starting on the offense tree, and I'll go down this side just like they did. And I may not do Life Drinker, but because I'm not booking her, she's going to get a few more of those A1 hits in. I may do Life Drinker. That's a kind of a minor difference between the trees. Hellhades.com is the best resource for people that are new players trying to figure out what resource or which masteries to put on their champions, and so I trust that they know what they're doing enough, and they really have they really have thought these out really well. And like I said, I don't think you're going to go wrong by using those by following the mastery trees that they suggest. And then later on, as you get into more specializing in the game and more, building very specific teams, by that time you'll know the mastery trees better. But for right now, if you're really early game and you're just not sure what masteries to put on, and it can be confusing. There's quite a few options there. So I would just trust them to know what to do, and I'm happy to help and make suggestions also. But my main suggestion would be for any champion that you're building that you're putting masteries on, I would trust one of those trees, as long as you know what purpose you're building your champion for and where you've been using them in the game. There's a lot of resources out there, and I'm happy to help. If you want to put a comment down in and ask a specific question about something, I'm happy to answer, and I'm sure there'd be other people, if they're watching the videos, willing to answer those questions for you also. There's a lot of smart people out there on the game. Also, going into Discord and talking to people, it's not that scary. There's a few characters out there, but most of the time people are very kind and want to help. Everybody in this game, I've noticed more than any other game I think I've ever played, most of the people want to see others succeed, and so I think if you're having trouble with something and you go on, there will be plenty of people out there willing to help you. Also, clanmates, our communication system in this game, compared to other games, this game's communication, this clan chat and global chat, they're really kind of terrible as far as communication goes. I'm sorry to say it, but they really aren't that good. But usually most clans have their own Discord, and so you can go on their Discord community, and there's a lot of the content creators have a Discord community also, and they're very helpful. If you go on there, if you're respectful and treat everybody well, they're going to be nice to you and trying to help you out. So, but thank you, Leanna, for the question. I hope that's helpful. I'm kind of embarrassed to show my trees compared to the hellhades.com one sometimes, because sometimes I just go on and go, yeah, I know I want that and I want that, and sometimes I miss something that is kind of obvious, but it usually doesn't hurt me too badly. But when I'm building a very specific team for something, I understand the masteries well enough that I know, okay, I want to avoid this one, I want to use this one, and I think I'll make a video pretty soon that have specific areas of the game and include the masteries that you want to avoid for that specific area of the game, and maybe some of the ones that you want to use for certain specific areas of the game that can be kind of tricky. There's a few bosses out there in the game that have mechanics where they react very poorly to certain masteries, or they just don't work, and so you want to know those things, and it's important to prepare your mastery trees well for certain specific teams that you're building. You do get one free reset of masteries, and so it's you get kind of a mulligan on some of those, and if you do a bad tree and it doesn't work, you will get a reset. And I would say just follow a suggested tree if you really don't know, and then as you get further on in the game, you'll figure it out. So a lot of progress, a lot of news that we've last few days that we've progressed. I'll take you over to the budget account here. No bluish green border on the budget account. We'll go in and collect our Relentless gear. Oh, I forgot. I was going to check and see what it was. Let's go look at it and see. Relentless can be really helpful if you get a good piece, but sometimes it's not. You can see I did some dragon farming. I haven't even looked at yet. That's not great. Not great. Ooh, crit rate gloves though. That's early game. It's, you want to, but 4-star. Oh, and that's terrible. Yeah. So I'll probably sell 3 of these. If it's 4-star at this point, I'm almost a month in. If it's 4-star, I'm already getting to the point where it really isn't helping me that much. Although, if I have to have a fill-in to be able to put a Relentless set on, I don't know. I'll think about it. I tend to be kind of a hoarder when it comes to gear, and because I have room, I'm just going to leave it there for a second. Those pieces will probably get cleansed out really soon, but I want to make sure that I have the sets that I need if I need to shoehorn a champion into a set, which I wouldn't suggest. You'll see we got Fenchy 6-starred. Was able to make enough food, and right now what's going on, and this is important, so I'm glad I thought of telling you. This is important. The event that's going on right now that I think is really important for both of these new accounts, and if you have a new account, hopefully you already did this. I should have, if I would have known, my video yesterday would have alerted you to this. It's probably too late for most people now, but if you have a new account, this champion training event has been so huge for me. So if you did do this champion training and you have some prism crystals, don't summon them yet. Wait until Friday, because Friday I think there will be a champion chase tournament on Friday, and that gives you points for pulling champions that aren't from shards. So this award of 30 prism crystals gives you enough crystals to summon one of the champions from this summoning pool, and any of these epics, and you have a 94% chance of getting one of the epics. So, but any of these epics, with a few exceptions, would be extremely good for either or both of these accounts. Now, any of the legendaries would be fantastic, but even if we just pull one of the epics, and I'm only going for the prism crystals on the champ training event, because the only other place that we're getting them in game, other than purchasing them, which I'm not going to purchase any, I'm still not to my budget day yet, where I can spend my $50 for the month. And I don't think I would buy prism crystals anyway. The problem with prism crystals, there's no mercy system. But as with two new accounts, most all of those epics are really, really good. The only other place in the game where we're getting an opportunity for the prism crystals is the summon rush, kind of a strange midweek summon rush that we're having, and that one is all the way down here. You'd have to open 5 sacreds plus some random mysteries or a couple of ancients or something, but 5 sacred shards to have the opportunity to get one more chance at, and so for most players, I just don't think that's worth it, because the summon pool, I mean, yes, they're good champions, but you have a 94% chance of getting one of these epics, and most people playing the game, it's not worth spending 5 sacreds to get a chance to get one of these. I would love to have a Trunda. I only have 3 on my main account. I have Mashald, Rhodos, and Razelvarg. The rest of these I do not have on my main account, but I'm not going to pull 5 sacreds on my main account to get a chance, a 6% chance for one summon, because it'll most likely be, a Lady Quillen or something like that, which I don't need. But that's my main account. On these 2 accounts, I'm going for that one chance to get one of these epics, because if we were to pull a Geomancer, for example, it'd be game changing. If we were to pull an Allure, also very game changing. Allure is one of my favorite epics in the game. Ferric the Fat, game changing epic. Phoenix, game changing. There's some really good. Fane, game changing. If you can put together an unkillable clan boss team, Fane is I on my main account. I know I keep talking about it, but that's where most of my experience is. Fane is my main damage dealer for my clan boss team. So this Neldor, he's a fairly new high elf. He would be huge. He's got an A2 or no A3. Yeah, he's A3. All enemies he attacks. It's an AOE. He has a 75% chance when booked, an 80% chance with sniper mastery of putting a decreased speed on for 2 turns. The big version of decreased speed. There's not very many epics in the game that do this, and it heals this champion by 30% of the damage dealt on an AoE. That's a pretty big heal usually if you can make him do some damage. And he has a decreased attack and a decreased accuracy on his A2. He has a freeze, 3-time random freeze on his A1, and it's only a 40% chance. But that's a big skill. And then if you have him in tandem with another freeze champion, whenever an ally places a freeze, he has a 30% chance to join in on that attack with his default, which was a 3-time at random, which has a chance to freeze also. So if you're doing a wave and one of your allies places a freeze, he does his attack and it can randomly hit. That can give you some good control in Doom Tower and other places. So yeah, Neldor would be excellent to pull. Seize I haven't used, and I haven't really looked at his kit. Increase attack, veil, perfect veil on this champion. So he's selfish, attacks all. So he does have at least one AoE. Places 30% increased crit damage on this champion for 2 turns before attacking. Heals this champion by 5% of their max HP on each critical hit. Okay, so it's not based on his damage, it's based on his HP, which is good. And then steals 15% turn meter from the enemy with the highest turn meter at the end of this champion's turn. This effect cannot be resisted. That's cool. And he doesn't do any debuffs, so you wouldn't build him with any accuracy. And the one thing that he does to affect another can't be resisted. And that would make him cycle his turns pretty fast. That's kind of cool. But he is he's single target with these two. But he puts Veil on himself, which hides him. And so you build him with 100% crit rate. You don't have to put any accuracy on him, and he's going to just keep cycling turn meter. And he's got some speed. He's only 100 speed. It's not too high, but that's kind of cool. And he just looks awesome. Look at that. Look at those ears, the jewelry, scars. Very cool. Very cool champ. I don't use the C's on my main account. I do have one, but I've never built him. Aishma's cool too. She's got an AoE weaken. So this is a great pool. And so if there's any time left on the event, I don't think there probably will be by the time I get this video out. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, by the time I get this video out, there will only be a few hours left probably on this champ training event. So I'm sorry. I don't know if that influences you at all, but if you did do this event and you have some prism crystals, wait until Friday, because I think there may be a chance that you'll be able to get some points for a champion chase tournament. Although because it's not during any kind of fusion or anything, then you may not even be really participating heavily in the event, but it might give you maybe the energy at the beginning of the tournament or something like that. And that's always helpful. It's better to wait, when you're doing these prism summons, it's better to wait and see, what's going to be available, because, they'll pull, if you have enough crystals, it'll pull for you at the end of the event anyway. So you might as well wait until there's a chance of getting some points in another event. Right now, if you were to summon this, the only benefit would be you'd have the champion sooner, which isn't too much of a benefit. So hopefully they'll give us a champion chase tournament that will allow us to score some points with our prism crystals. Oh, and a few days ago we were doing Dragon Tournament because they were doing lifesteal, and we were able to get the top reward in both the free-to-play and the budget in that Dragon Tournament, which gave us an epic book on each account, so that was really good also. And we picked up some lifesteal gear. Hopefully it'll be helpful. It's not it's not great, but it's what we have right now. Let's check in here and see what we've got available to us. Nothing that we have, so, which is going to be normal for a while. That's just what we're going to expect. Let's summon our 3 obligatory mystery shards. And then I did get a 1-star blessing on the free to play for Athel, so that was good. That was in the pool, in the Altar of Souls. The 1-star blessings on rares only cost 2 essence, and so we were given 20 at the beginning. So we'll still have to start watching. We'll have to start doing some Iron Twins pretty soon. The reward for Iron Twins is pretty small, plus it costs energy, so I haven't really worried about it yet. On the budget, we were also able to get to Spider 10, which was really big. If you don't know, Spider 10 gives you an increased chance. It's a kind of a weird kind of glitch, and I don't know that they consider it a glitch anymore because it's been this way since I started playing, and they haven't fixed it. But Spider Stage 10 gives a really high rate of 5-star gear. You do have a chance of getting mystery shards from Spider 10, so that's not ideal when you put energy into farming Spider. You want the accessories, but Spider 10 is the place you farm, and as you're working your way up, it's still the most efficient until you get down here to 20. 20 is a little bit more efficient, and you're going to get better gear. But for tournaments and things like that, for Spider tournaments and events, Spider 10 is, while you're still working your way up to 20, Spider 10 is the place you stay. So hopefully that helps you if you didn't know that. But yeah, that was a big one to be able to get to Spider 10. And I think I had a Magic Keep mission to do. Let's see if we can do 13. We'll move our Fenchi in because he's strong affinity to this boss. So in this case, we're going to be hoping that our Adeline will be able to steal the shield from the magic boss here. Let's check and see if she can do it. She doesn't have a great chance on her A1 of stealing a random buff, and it's a random buff. The magic boss puts up several, but hopefully she'll be able to do it. Yeah, it's been kind of fun the last few days. We also reached Baumel on the budget account, stage 10 of Doom Tower. Baumel's very tough. I knew I didn't have the team to do Baumel, but he's tough, and I know he's tough. I mean, he just is. It's, I kind of wish he wasn't the first boss you face in Doom Tower on this rotation, but there you go. So yeah, see that big shield that's on the blue boss here, the blue potion keep boss. And Fenchi's coming along, got him at level 16, but yeah, he is 6-starred. I did ascend him. It probably doesn't matter to ascend him yet because he's not. I don't have any accessories really for Shadowkin other than, no, I do have a couple, but I don't have any banners. So getting him to 6-star ascension hasn't helped yet. But I had the potions to do it, so I just decided to go ahead and do it. I could have waited until a time when it benefited us for like a CVC tournament or something like that, which I maybe should have done, but it's probably not going to matter that much. Yeah, and this boss, she hits kind of hard, but this will be our first time downing 13, so that's good. Let's go see what we got for that. Got the challenge done. That's good. Okay, so now I just have one challenge left, and that'll be to 13 of the Fire Knight. Stage 13 of Fire Knight. That one we're not ready to do yet. I did do up to... Where are we at? I got 12 done. But you can see it took 9 minutes and 33 seconds. So we're not ready. The nice thing is we've got some healing on the team. We were able to keep the team alive while we slowly worked the Fire Knight boss down. Kept opening the shield and then he'd attack us. Kept opening the shield and then he'd attack us. And he heals every time he puts his shield back up. And I didn't have heal reduction on the team. What did I use last? Yeah, I did have Fenchy, and he does have the decreased speed on his A1, which is good, and Adlin also has a decreased speed. The decreased attack is probably what saved us here, but then we've got the healing from both Taragi and Adlin. That kept the team alive long enough to be able to work the boss all the way down, but I don't think we're ready for 13. We don't have enough hits to put on the shield, and and plus we're going to be weak affinity with our main damage dealer with Ethel, so... Yeah, we're not ready to do 13 yet. I'd really like to get an Armiger built for that stage. That would be very helpful. But if we pulled an Allure, even though she's weak affinity, Allure would be huge in that fight because she has 3 hits on her A1. So, and all 3 hits, or they're random, but if there's only one enemy, they go all 3 on the one enemy. And she reduces turn meter by 30% so with each hit. So that's really nice. And she can usually keep the boss down. If she's fast enough, she can keep the boss's turn meter down by herself. So can't wait to get a chance to get an Allure. You know, that's a really good pool for early game. That's almost like a catch-up mechanic. You know, so for anybody who's willing to put the time into this event of the champ training, it's a nice catch-up mechanic to do. So I'm happy about that. You can see I've got a little ways to go here. On this account, I've got a little bit further to go on the free-to-play, so I'm going to get on that right after I get done recording this video. I'll get on that. I'll get the crystals. That's one I'm not going to miss. So that'll be fun. And then maybe this Friday or so, I'll see what we get. I'll open that. I'll open it on the camera so that if something great does happen, I'll be able to put it on the video and you can see it. Surprising results in the arena defense. I know I'm going kind of long here, but I wanted to show you. This is weird. Okay, I'm in Gold Arena. I've made it to Gold 1 on both the free to play and the budget. And the one thing that I was really concerned, I was like, there's no way. The goal is to win 10 Classic Arena defense battles in Gold 1 or higher. My defense is terrible compared to most of the defenses in Gold 1. And so I don't know how in the world I've gotten 7 wins. Maybe somebody was just being really nice and giving me wins on that, but I can't imagine. Anyway, so we're making some progress. I've got 3 in a row now on the budget account. Last night I went in and there were a couple and I thought, I got frustrated. I kept refreshing the page and I didn't see any wins available. And then I saw 2. I was like, well, maybe I can win. I lost both of them. So it reset my counter. I think I was up to 4 or 5 or something. And it reset my counter. So now I've got 3 Gold 1 wins. So you just keep refreshing the page though and finding, single man defenses that you can beat. It's so hard early game to know. See, like I look at this page. I don't have 1 win here. There's no way I win any of these fights. And so you refresh the page. I mean, yes, I can beat this Demitha, but this, she probably doesn't hit very hard, obviously. She's a clan boss. She's kind of a support champion. But 32,000 power, that's like half my team power. So, and this Deacon could solo me. I don't think he will. I'll probably do both of those fights, but you can see it's very difficult to find 2 single man defenses on the same page. Kind of an anomaly almost. So yeah, I'll just go in here. We'll fight the 1-man defense. Yeah, so I've got 73,000 power. My Ethel is probably up around 30 or so. So she's probably about the same power level as this Demitha. I think we win this one. The nice thing is our Adlin has a buff steel on her A1. knowing the champions in this game as you do these fights is pretty important. So as you go in, you can actually click on the champions that you're facing, and you can look at their kits. You can see what they do and everything. And I already know what Adeline does. She puts a block damage on her whole team, but in this case it'd be herself and some continuous heal. So you want to have somebody that can strip buffs, and my Adeline can strip a random buff off. And so we're just going to go with the luck on that, and hopefully while she's under block damage, she doesn't whittle everybody down. I don't think that's going to happen, but I've seen weird stuff. I've seen so much. It's so hard. Anyway, so so she puts block damage on herself. We can't. She has enough resistance. We didn't get the decreased defense on. Couldn't get a provoke. Man, she's got high resistance. Okay, so the block damage falls off. We can start doing some damage to her. Yeah, so we will win this one. It's just, it's hard to find. It's hard to find wins when you get into Gold 1. My opinion, Gold 5 is easier to find wins than Gold 1. I really think that's true. So once we work our way up to Gold 5, we'll be fine. In fact, we'll just leave a one-man defense in the whole time, and we'll never leave Gold 5. But getting up there, that's the trick. Okay, Deacons usually hit a lot harder than a Demitha does, but not so hard that I'm afraid of it. Plus, we're strong affinity to the Deacon with my main damage dealer, and Taragi's strong affinity to him. My War Maiden is weak affinity, so she could weak hit and not land the decreased defense. But we probably won't be faster than this Deacon, so he'll be putting decreased defense on us and reducing our turn meter. I'm just hoping that we can withstand that initial hit that he does enough that, okay, yeah, we're going to be okay. We'll be fine. Yeah, we're fine. It's just, when your goal is to win 10 in a row, it's hard. Yeah, and so now I've got to wait another 12 minutes before I can refresh the page again. I don't use gems to refresh the page. Even if I was spending, I don't think I would do that unless, I was doing like Platinum Arena run or something like that. There's a Tag Arena tournament going on right now also, and so we've been trying to find wins where we can in Tag Arena. Here's some. Okay, so we start this Terex. I'm going to keep all the copies of Terex, because he has this AoE provoke for a rare. It's an amazing skill for a rare to have, but an AoE provoke, if you put several Terexes on a team, you could keep a lot of control going for quite a while. If you can make him tanky enough that he survives the hits that he takes as a result of being provoked, that would be pretty nice. So I'm going to keep those Terexes that I got during he was the rare that was being used for the Wixwell fusion. I got 3 or 4 of them on both accounts, so I'm going to keep them and possibly use them all in Lizardman faction wars and stuff like that. When you go in and manual, you can control, when they use those abilities, and you might get some luck, to be able to climb a little higher in faction wars and things like that. So I think that's a nice rare to have. Plus he's void, so he's not going to weak hit. Also had a crazy, I saw a crazy team. Check this out. You see this crazy defense? Look at this. This is in Gold 1. This is a defense. This is a defense in Gold 1. Look at these 2 mythicals. And Ninja. Okay, Ninja came out, I think I'd been playing for, less than a year when Ninja came out. And no one can get Ninja on a new account. This is a very old account that only made it to level 45. So, but they have mythicals. Mythicals just came out recently. So I don't even know what's going on with this account. But why are they in Gold 1 with 2 mythicals? This is crazy. Anyway, this is the kind of stuff you see. This team right here, this Gorgorab team. But again, Ninja, you get 2 ninjas on the same screen. It's just really strange. Ninja is only on accounts that are pretty old. He was only available. They did a deal with the famous streamer Ninja, and they put him in the game, and he was kind of the first one they did this with. And I had only been playing for a little while, when he first came out, And, so old accounts have him, but this is an old account that has been playing since Mythicals came out a few months ago. So I don't understand how this works and why they are in. How do you get a level 45 account with Ninja that also has Mythicals? It doesn't. If anybody knows how this happens, why this, I guess there's lots of weird stuff. Maybe people are trading or selling accounts. I don't know, but I just thought this was really strange. So anyway, that's just an observation I made. I hope I hope that doesn't get me into any trouble or anything. I just thought that was a crazy defense to have in gold 1. And it's an old account, but it's still only level 45. Like I don't understand how that happened. But you have 2 mythicals. That's strange. I think it's strange. Anyway, when we were in Doom Tower, we did some Doom Tower. Been trying to push as much as I can. This one's on the free to play. I was able to push all the way up to level 9 on the budget account, and we tried Bommel, but obviously don't have the team to do Bommel yet. But I'm kind of stuck on level 6 here. I haven't tried it. I didn't try it yesterday, but we'll keep trying to push. But we did get the first secret room done on both accounts, and that gives us our first Archmage helmet fragments. So that's really nice too. But yeah, you can see, only rare champions. So I used a couple that aren't built, and the Ethel mostly did most of the work on her own. But I got through it just because of manualing. If you're able to manual and you kind of understand the turn order and which skills to use when and how to save your skills for the next round and stuff like that, that's also helpful. When I first started playing the game, I had no idea, and sometimes I would try and manual to make things better, and I actually just would make them worse. so now I kind of understand, and actually manualing is more beneficial than just letting it go on auto, because their AIs can't know every situation. It's an if-then kind of programming, and they don't have every situation programmed in, obviously. So some of the most simple things, that you would think you'd be able to program in, they don't do it. And since they came out with where we can set up our teams, they've been really lazy about making the AIs good because they don't have to. Because they gave us the power to control the AIs enough that now we can set up our own teams and it works out just fine. So. Did a key we're 1 keying normal on both accounts now. One normal's only, it's 3.64 million damage. So we can 1 key normal with both. And now I'm at a level where I can 2 key with the budget and 3 key with hard. So that's what I've been doing, is 3 keying hard. I am going to leave that how it is. I'm almost ready to 6-star Stagnite on this account. I think I've got one more 5-star chicken to make. Yeah, one more 5-star chicken to make, and then I'll be able to 6-star Stagnite. The nice thing with Stagnite is I have a couple of banners, so actually ascending him fully is going to be helpful because I'll be able to put a banner on him. I'll put him in lifesteal also. I don't think I have him in lifesteal yet, but that was a goal, to put him in lifesteal. We've got a free gear removal event coming up tomorrow also. So that's why I've waited. I was going to do some regearing today, and then I heard. Can't remember where I heard it from, but I think one of the YouTubers that I watch had something about that there's going to be free regearing tomorrow, which makes sense. I mean, it's time. So they'll have a free gear removal event for a few days, and that's when I'm going to do a bunch of my regearing, and that'll be really helpful also. And so I'll get Stagnite into some lifesteal gear. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of silver because so it's a problem all the time, and I'd like to be able to level up some gear up to a certain level, but just having the lifesteal on is very helpful. So we'll get that done, and then we'll probably try and run some more Minotaur, get some more masteries put on some of the champions that don't. I did buy the masteries for both Ethel and Taragi, but I'm not going to buy any more masteries. I'm just going to grind masteries from now on both accounts. I'm trying to do the exact same thing, for both accounts. at least playing the same way. Eventually, there's going to be some there's going to be some a gap that's going to be formed between the budget and the free to play, where it just won't be smart to do the exact same things on the budget as it is on the free to play. But while I have control over it, I'll try and eliminate as many variables as possible. But the raid card has been significant as far as being able to build, Fenchy, for example. I was able to 6-star Fenchy before I was able to 6-star Stag Knight. That extra 20% is really helpful. It's not that it's funny, I didn't even really think about this, but when you're building a 1-star champion, you still have to run them through 12-3 3 times, whether it's with the raid card or without. If you're doing Nightmare campaign, you can run a 1-star through 12-6 one time, and with the raid card on. With the raid card off, it takes 2 times. So if you're doing Nightmare, it's more efficient if you're doing a lot of 1-stars. But that also, I mean, that only really applies to the 1-stars because you get more experience. You get the 20% more experience, and that makes a big difference on the 3s, 4s, and the 3s and 4 stars that you're building. So that you run through campaign. Anyway, it's kind of a little math thing, but I just hadn't anticipated that with the raid card, the 1-stars would be, the same as far as how many times you have to run them through the campaign. They're getting more experience each time, but you still have to run them through 3 times. It changes with and I didn't pay attention to it, but the 2s and 3s and 4 stars, I didn't really pay attention to how many times what the difference is, but I'm going to pay attention to it now and look and see, just for efficiency's sake. So yeah, see, we get just over 4 million damage on hard, and it takes 12. So we can 3 key. So we're on track to 3 key that. So that's perfect. I'd like to be 2 keying normal, but we're not ready. I'd like to be 2 keying hard on the free to play also, but we're not ready to 1 key, or with an extra key. We will be putting an extra key on the budget into brutal, but we're still not over this level yet, I don't think. Maybe we might be able to get a night chest today from the budget account. So that's where we are. It's a lot of updates because it's been a few days since I've had an update video for the series, but I've just been really working on that champ training event so that I can get those prism crystals, and we're gonna get a summon on Fridays, and it's gonna be somebody probably that's good. I think all of those epics, there's a 94% chance we'll get an epic on for both of those for each account, but pretty much all of those epics can be impactful on a new account, some more than others, obviously. But I really like the pool that they have there. And if we get one of the legendaries, well then, it's great all the way around. But we'll go for that, the summon for that, and I'm pretty excited about it. So I think that's all I had. Thank you so much. I'd be grateful if you'd give me a like or a subscribe or something like that. It's really nice of you to watch. I'm just getting things started, and everybody that watches is helping me, and I hope this experiment that I'm doing is helping other people, comparing, to make a more informed decision about their possible spending in the game. I wanted to do something that would help people realize, if I spend this much money and I'm smart about it and I put it in the right place, is that actually going to increase my experience or my enjoyment of the game? Or can I have just as much fun just relaxing and not spending money in the game? I think sometimes the misconception when we play games like this is that if I spend this amount of money, it's going to solve these problems, and then I'll be at a comfortable level. But what tends to happen is whatever you get for the spending kind of goes away pretty fast, and then you find yourself stuck again, and then you need to keep spending to be able to keep playing at that level that you want to play at. And so I hope people don't fall into that trap. But I also will admit that the spending does make a difference and it does speed things up. Sometimes I think it doesn't do as much as you might think it does. A whale account, obviously, with a whale account, if you're spending thousands, it's going to give you a ton of progress that you wouldn't have had otherwise. That's clear. But I'm spending what I think is a pretty significant amount of money, and so far you'll see that there hasn't been too much of a difference. And obviously the money that I spent last month is going to be stretched over a 6-month period. But as I keep going, I think you'll be surprised. There will be some differences in the level of play that you can achieve. But I think you might be surprised at how little of a difference it is. And what I'm hoping that does is just help people make more informed decision about how they're gonna go about playing the game and whether or not it's a good idea to spend. Thank you for watching. I'm going to go get on some more champion training so I don't miss out on those prism crystals. My name is Wood, and I appreciate you.